Hello and welcome back. My name is Queenie Kechi Antonin, and today I will be talking about the debate question that concerns men paying on first dates. I feel like this is a very appealing question because in 2021, it's kind of saying how much, I feel like that's like the perfect depiction of how much times have really changed as far as, courtmanship goes, and, not necessarily more of a romance level, but more of a thing where men are, supposed to be considered as gentlemen because they would be paying. But some people agree, some people don't. But as for me, I 100% agree. I believe that men should 100% pay on first dates, and I am going to tell you why. I believe that men should pay on first dates because they are courting you. Men should pay on first dates because they are courting you. They are courting you. Now, whether you are in a male to female relationship, female 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 to female relationship, whether you whoever's courting who, basically, you should be the one if you were courting the other person, you should be the one to pay. You should be the one to pay because of the fact that you are the one who is not necessarily being placed at disposal if the date goes wrong, or the date goes bad because you're the one that caught eyes first. You were the one that even granted the idea to begin with. So I don't believe that a person who was just sitting down at a bus stop should have to go on a date and let's say that it'd be a terrible date and it just goes bad and they have to end up paying $60 or so for their dinner. Doesn't make much sense to me because I didn't even want to be here in the first place. I didn't even want to be here in the first. I didn't even want to be here in the first place. Even want to be here in the first place. So here in the first place. So first place. So for me, it's like a. So for me, it's like a. It's a. For me, it's like a. It's a hard no. Like a. It's a hard no. It's a hard no. I believe hard no. I believe that men. I believe that men should pay. I believe that men should pay, or whoever that men should pay, or whoever is courting should pay, or whoever is courting who should, or whoever is courting who should pay. Is courting who should pay. Who should pay. Pay. Another reason that I have for that, another reason that I have for that as well, another reason that I have for that as well, is because as the person who is being is because as the person who is as the person who is being as the person who is being asked out, person who is being asked out is being asked out, you asked out, you are being out, you are being put at disposal, disposal. You're being put at disposal. You're being put at disposal. You're being put at disposal. It's put at disposal. It's kind of disposal. It's kind of as if a person who's trying to promote their business, they stop trying to promote their business, they stop you in their store, they stop you in their store, and they're like, hey, let me, door, and they're like, hey, let me, reach out to you and tell you a little bit about what I got going on, and see if you're interested, yada yada yada, and see if you're interested, yada 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 yada, and like yada 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 yada, and like after they pitch their idea to you, and they're like, yeah, idea to you, and they're like, yeah, that's how you, and they're like, yeah, that's how it is. They're like, yeah, that's how it is. They're like, all right, that's how it is. They're like, all right, they're like, all right, and like their hand is out, and they're asking for money to pay them, and they're asking for money to pay them for speaking to you. And do you see how that's kind of backwards? That's kind of backwards. Why backwards? Why would I pay you for unsolicited conversation. I just don't really see the point. I don't at all. Don't really see the point. I don't at all. So that just kind of puts it into perspective. That just kind of puts it into perspective for you. As well as for example, forex traders, they try and pitch traders, they try and pitch their ideas to you, heavy, super heavy, and super, super heavy. And if you are not super heavy, and if you are not familiar with what Forex is, it is basically like a pyramid scheme. It is basically like a pyramid scheme, kind of thing. I do not have as much knowledge as another person would, so I cannot explain it in depth, but it's basically this thing, pyramid scheme, get everybody into it, top of the person, makes a certain amount of money, because they continue to draw people in, if you have watched The Office, and you've watched that one episode, you know exactly, you have a little bit of context, but with Forex traders, they usually try to promote and push their business heavy, and it would just be so heavy, and it would just be so weird or awkward if they were to say, all right, I just did all of this for you. I just told you about this, and this and that. Now pay me. This and that. Now pay me. Because I decided to take the time out of your day. Take the time out of your day to show you something, or to potentially grant me something that might be useful to me, and in terms of relationship, what might be useful, is a person that you can actually get along with, a person that you can see yourself having a future with, and that is just a little bit too much. That is just a little bit too much of an insurance. Policy for me. So that is another reason why men should pay. In addition, In addition, I do understand why people feel as if men should not pay because hello 2021 generals we are equal 2021 generals we are equal I do understand that but again I feel like whoever is courting whoever is taking the time out of whoever is courting whoever is taking the time out of their day to court the other person they should take the time out of the day to go to the bank to get a little bit extra money to get a little bit extra money to pay for the other person because they're putting themselves again at disposal. In conclusion, it has been very, very fun. It has been very, very fun. And I hope that you gained a little bit of knowledge. Once again, I do believe that men should indeed pay on the first date. And to reiterate, because of the fact that they are not the ones being put at disposal, they are not the ones who are taking the time out of their day, even though they are, but they aren't necessarily because they courted you. They saw something in you that they wouldn't mind sitting down with for an hour or two. You, on the other hand, you're just kind of taking a chance on the fact that, they might be attractive, they might, look like an interesting person, but not to the point or not to the extent that you went ahead and asked them. So I do believe that whoever is courting who should indeed pay on the first date. And I am curious to know what everyone else thinks as well, because I think that is a very interesting topic and I love the topic. Thank you so much, and I wish you all a very good night.